Hey, everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report. Today's guest, young man out of New Jersey, getting ready for the IFBB North American Championships happening soon. Probably been hearing a lot of buzz about this guy. He is Nick Walker. Welcome, Nick.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me on, Ron.
You're welcome. And it's rare these days that anyone even talks about the top amateurs. It's not like the old days when amateurs there were less opportunities to turn pro. There were So these guys had more time to get a fan base and people rooting for them for a couple of years before they turn pro. Now it seems like there's so many different shows like Amateur Olympias, Arnold Amateurs, this and that. We don't get to know you guys before you turn pro. It's like boom. So
Yeah.
I just found out about this guy because he just won the USA or he won the nationals. But people have been talking about you for a couple years now, especially after last year's USA where you barely got edged out by Zach Merkel,
Yeah.
uh, which I think was a good thing for you because had you won, people would have talked about you for a couple weeks, and then it's sort of they would have moved on to the next big thing. But when someone comes close to winning a show like that, it builds a lot of anticipation buzz for the next season. And I think people have been talking about you for well over a year, solid now. Um, looking back at the USA last year, I'm sure you wanted to win, and you're not glad you didn't win. But can you see how it probably has worked out a little bit to your favor?
Oh, yeah. I think it actually, like you said, I think it benefited me more than as if I would have won.
Yeah.
Um, since I did lose, I think losing just made me a better person because it made me work twice as hard this off season and make the improvements that I needed to make, and which I think me and Matt achieved, and we will continue to achieve even after North American.
Yeah, that's Matt Jansen, everybody. In case you didn't know which Matt he's referring to.
Yes, my
Uh,
coach is Matt Jansen. Yes.
okay, so let's learn a little bit more about you. I've seen a couple interviews. Actually, one really good one was done with Xavier Wills from Desktop Bodybuilding,
Yeah.
who's starting to do videos with MD now. Thank you, Nick. Thank you for doing that, Xavier. But so you're from Pine Hill, New Jersey. Um, you were quite an athlete: soccer, baseball, football, wrestling. But the amazing thing that I found out from that interview was that your dad was a competitive bodybuilder, correct?
Yeah, he competed in a couple shows when he was younger.
So by the time you were old enough to know what was going on, was he retired from competing?
Yeah, he stopped competing like before when my mom was pregnant with my brother at the time. So
Okay.
he was done for years, but he basically taught me the basics of everything, and from there I just did a lot of research from reading books, watching YouTube videos, and eventually I knew I would have to hire a coach at one point or another, but I wanted to gain as much knowledge as I could before I took that step.
Yeah. So did your dad encourage you to start weight training, or was that something that you wanted to do from an early age?
Uh, yes, my father was the type of person where if I wanted to do something, he stood by it. I was always big into baseball. Like that was my main sport. I played all those other sports, but baseball was my main top sport that I was really good at. And when I started working out, the passion for baseball just wasn't there anymore, and
Mm.
I wanted to pursue working out more. I didn't think about uh, competing hard at the time. I was only like 14 or 15.
Mm.
Um, but, being young and the genetics that I did have when I was about a senior in high school, everyone told me I should start competing.
Mm.
So, right, soon as I graduated, I actually started prep for my first show.
Yeah. So let's get this. You started training regularly, consistently at like 15, 16 years old?
Probably about 14, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah,
So how soon was it apparent that your results were different from, the average 14-year-old kid down the block?
very quickly.
Mm.
Very quickly.
I'm just curious what your dad, I have no idea who he was or what he looked like in his prime. Was he a very massive guy? Do you think you got these genes from dad?
Oh, yeah, I got a mixture from my mom and my dad. Like, I have probably my dad's upper body and my mom's lower body.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
So I got the mix of both worlds in there.
Okay. Yeah. Did he try to coach you at all in the beginning as far as the training aspect of it?
Um, yeah, we tried to do my very first show together, but he worked a lot, so he was never really around too much.
Mm.
So we did the best we could together, but I eventually around 4 weeks out from my first show, I did hire my first coach. So we I took it from there.
I'm not going to throw this coach under the bus, and we didn't name him, so don't get mad, whoever you are out there, coach. But I saw the interview with Xavier, and you went from 225 down to 159 pounds because like a crash diet at the end. That
Yeah,
must have been tough on you to have all that. A lot of that had to be muscle that you lost at the very end.
for
A lot
sure,
of muscle.
for sure. Yeah, I didn't feel too good neither at that point. It was pretty bad.
So, what was the first show you did as a teen where you looked the way you wanted to look, more or less, where you
Well,
could see?
even going back to the first show, I did actually the Golds Classic
Okay.
up in North Jersey, where that was actually the show Sean Clarita qualified to get his pro card that year in 2012.
Oh
So
wow.
that's pretty cool looking back at that now. But even at that show, even though I personally think I looked absolutely horrible, it was more of all the hard work that I put into it and just hearing people in the audience cheering, clapping, and yada, 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 that I felt more of myself
Yeah.
there. And I knew what I was capable of. Like, it was my first show. Everybody makes mistakes their first show. It is what it is. Very rarely do you get it right.
Well, let's tell people you were only 17 at your first show. It looks like.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, that's a kid. Come on.
yeah. Right. So I knew I had the genetics to be big. It was just, I needed the proper guidance on the dieting aspect.
Yeah.
And so the following year, I did the East Coast Championships and the Easterns USA in New York.
Yeah.
And I came in at that show at 194 pounds.
Oh, wow.
So, and I won the team division in both shows, and I placed third in the light heavyweights.
Yeah, and anyone who knows the show, the Easterns is a big, very competitive show. Any of the Weinberger shows in that area, they're stacked. They
Yeah,
always have been.
yeah,
Yeah, that's commendable. So you went to teen nationals in 2014, correct?
yes,
That was your first national show.
yeah.
Second in the heavyweights. Second place is I had many in my amateur career. Second place is kind of almost like last place in a way. It's like,
That's what it feels like because you're like right there, and it's like, wow.
yeah. But what was that experience like? That was your first national show. You're up against young guys from all over the USA.
Well, that was the year of Cody Montgomery's three-peat that I
Oh,
took second. But no, it was fun. Like taking second, also, taking second behind him
hmm,
allowed me to also solidify a little bit that I can go somewhere here
yeah,
because he looked phenomenal at that point. Like he was just a freak of nature,
yeah,
and knowing that it was pretty close. I knew again I just have to keep improving, but I do belong here. And then the following year or 2 years later in 2016, actually, I did USA's.
yeah.
And I got to me, like, that was the first really big national show, in Vegas, and I took sixth there.
Was I looked at is this correct? Were you a light heavy at that show?
I was, yeah.
Wow. What happened there? How the heck did you get back to light heavyweight?
I was actually working with Jeff Long at the time,
Okay.
and we did a qualifying show prior to that called the South Jersey Championships,
Yeah.
where I was like 210, 212 maybe.
Yeah.
And I was conditioned, but I wasn't like ready. And I remember like right after that show, he said, we're gonna suck you down to a light heavy. Like we're gonna
Wow.
make you field. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And
Mm,
that got real hard.
I bet, dude. Because I mean,
But I was conditioned. I was, and to be top six at like my very first like big national show with all the big boys, like again, like that was like okay, like
yeah,
I could be something here.
yeah. I mean, just making the cut, as we call it, top 15 at your first national show,
Yeah.
that's an achievement because we have 300 and some odd million people in this country. This is
Right.
there's a lot of friggin' bodybuilders in this country.
Right.
Uh, I'm just curious, what was your off? Because I know your off season, you've been as high as was it 290, 292, 294.
Just
What
yeah.
were you in the off season before you went down to light heavy for that show?
I think I only got up to about 250.
Only. Okay. Put in perspective for everybody. You're not 6'4". You're like me. You're 5'7".
Yeah,
That's a
I'm
lot
a
of damn.
short guy.
292. Good God. Okay. Uh, yeah, people always want to know about the strength stuff. You talked about some of your lifts with Xavier. Deadlift, you've done 700 for a double. Squat, I did the math because you didn't know how many 6 plates and a quarter was. That's 635. 6 reps, damn good. Bench press 500 for 6. This was a year ago. You're probably even stronger now, but those are the 3 power lifts. But for the
Yeah.
meatheads out there that don't necessarily do the power lifts, can you give me a couple other exercises like maybe barbell rows, overhead presses, curls?
Oh yeah, I actually the week I had Matt Jansen came down. He spent a couple days with us to train, and I incline dumbbell press the 225-pound dumbbells for
What?
5 reps.
What gym is this?
Strong and shapely.
East Rutherford. Okay.
Yes, yes.
225-pound dumbbells. They're probably about,
Yeah, they were pretty big.
yeah, good
And
God.
I also shoulder pressed the 200-pound dumbbells for like 5 or 6 reps.
Okay. Well, for those of you who, because there's people out there that get mad if you're huge and you're not like super strong too. So
Yeah.
you pass their test. You get points with them. No, that's it's crazy. Were you always super strong too? Did the strength and the size sort of come together as you started training as a kid?
Yeah, like I never tested my true strength really until I started working with Matt. Like training wise, I was more of a volume guy,
Yeah.
so I never really knew how strong I could be until I started working with him. And he's like, "Let's pull back the volume. Let's work your way up to a top set and see what happens." And my strength just went right through the roof
Yeah.
very quickly.
Yeah. Have you been out to I don't know where's Matt now? He was in like Tennessee or something before, right? Where
He
is he
lives in
now?
Georgia
Georgia?
now. Yeah.
Georgia? Do you ever go down there to train with him?
Yeah, yeah. I went there actually because technically all the gyms are still closed here.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah, very technically. So I think it was like the last week of May. I went down there, and me and him and his one of his good friends, we just trained in his garage gym all week long,
I
and
know.
it was fun. Like to me, that was fun. He had everything he needed. We just got down to it
Right. Yeah. Did he take you to Chick-fil-A many times?
once.
Yeah, he loves that Chick-fil-A.
We did get the Chick-fil-A.
It's funny because Nathan Dasha came over at least once, maybe more, from the UK to stay with Matt, and that's all I ever heard was how great Chick-fil-A was from. And I never had it. And I went, it's pretty good. It's I
I
wouldn't
like
kill
Chick-fil-A.
I wouldn't kill somebody for it, but it's pretty good. So I'm just curious. This year, North American, was that your plan? Because it seems like nobody's really been able to follow the plan that they had for the beginning of the year. At the beginning of this year, were you set on USA in July?
No, no, no. Right after USA's last year, I remember. And then that next morning, I texted Matt and I said I want to do North Americans next year,
Oh, okay,
and he
okay,
said okay.
yeah. Why not? I mean,
So that's been the plan.
which is now happening. It was Pittsburgh. Where is it now?
It's still in Pittsburgh. I
Oh,
just
it's
think it's
still in
at a
Pittsburgh.
different hotel.
Okay, I think they're having it in a tent outside. I
It's
think
out. Yeah, it's outside now. So
pavilion because a couple people from my gym are doing the show, and I think they said something about. I know it has to be outdoors, just because like most states, you can't have indoor gatherings of more than
right,
like 50 people or something. So I'm just curious. What'd you weigh at the USA last year?
238.
Wow, I mean, you look. If you told me like 260, I would have believed you. That's how thick you look. Uh, I know it's not all about weight and everything. It's not. We're not
Right,
judging you like cattle or a pig at the county fair. But what do you think you might weigh at this particular North American in a few weeks?
250, 255.
Okay, so it's about 20 pounds of tissue you put on.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
about.
tissue is a Matt Jansen term, everybody. Tissue.
It is.
Like
Yes, it is.
people use it. I've noticed people using it, but he was the first person I remember using that term. So
Yeah.
credit Matt Jansen. Yeah. So what's the last year of training been like for you?
Again, like after losing USA's, it's just been hard and heavy as to the and every day. And
Yeah.
so I've actually never been so focused in an off season before. Like I'm always focused. I'm always regimented. Like that was never an issue. But like this year was like something different.
Yeah.
It was like a different animal came out this off season, and I just went to work every single day.
Yeah. And I think it's because you lost.
I do.
Because
Like
Every
me and
guy I
Matt.
know that's made significant improvements in like a year's time, they took like second place at the pro qualifier the year before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like me and Matt always say to each other, losing was the best thing that happened to me.
absolutely. I mean, in every way, because it's great when somebody comes out of nowhere and wins, but like I said, a week or two later, everyone's like, "Yeah," and they're on to the next story or whatever, gossip. But somebody with really great potential that comes really close, that's a story, especially when they come back the next year and win. That's like all the sports movies we love, where the underdog comes back and this and that. Although I don't know if I'd call you an underdog exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
I said to Matt, and he kind of agreed with me. And anyone else competing North American, don't take this the wrong way, but I said I kind of feel sorry for a lot of people are going to have to stand next to this guy because if you bring the condition that you're supposed to with all this size, it's
Oh,
going to be very
it's
very
there.
tough, very tough to stand next to you.
It's gonna be a good show.
Yeah, absolutely. So did the quarantine, all top bodybuilders found a way somehow to keep training. Did it affect you in any way?
In the very beginning, it did. Um, I was there was gyms that would let you in, not let you in on some days, and So for me, like there was days where I'd wake up not knowing if I was going to be able to train or not. So that was a little time frame where I was just slightly unmotivated because I just didn't know what was going to happen. But luckily, I've been able to train at the Tillis Gym in Belmar. That's
Oh,
all
okay.
over the news.
I mean,
So
that place
yeah.
has been shut down like how many times now? Boy, they turned off their power, they turned off their
Oh,
water.
they've been trying everything to shut them down, and it's just not. They won't let it happen.
Is that your main gym?
That's been my main gym for a couple years now. Yeah,
Belmar, is that where it is?
yeah,
Yeah. Wow. Are they open now?
yeah.
No. Wow. Because I mean, I
I
think
was I was just there this morning for cardio.
are you the last state in the country that doesn't have gyms open?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
Yeah. Because even New York's open now.
yeah.
Wow.
Everything's open but New Jersey.
Wow. Damn. Dude, your Governor Murphy sucks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I got people here. We complain about Governor Baker, Massachusetts, but I'm like, you guys got to check out this Cuomo in New York, this Murphy. And, oh, he makes our governor look like a great guy.
It's horrible, man.
Yeah. I mean, do you have a lot of friends who are affected by it? Because you must have some friends that were struggling to find places to train.
Oh yeah, I've had a few. And as much as like because before Attila's really opened back up, like I'm really good friends with them, so they were letting me in anyway.
Yeah.
And it's like I can't tell no one I was there. So people are like, "Yo, did you find a place to train?" I'm like, "No,"
Maybe. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but once they reopen, like it's a madhouse. It's like a running gym,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, I won't get into the whole debate, but to have like Walmarts and McDonald's and all this crap open and
Yeah, it clearly doesn't make sense, but
strip clubs, I think everything's open pretty much except gyms now. Gyms and maybe bars. Bars I get because
gyms and movie theaters.
yeah, I get I don't get the movie theater thing. It's not
I
like
don't
everybody.
get it. Well, I get it, but I don't get it because like that's my joy during prep. That's where I like to go. I'll go to the movies like 2 to 3 times a week. Like every Tuesday, me and my mom used to go for like $5 movie.
Yeah. So where's the food go in your cargo short pants?
No, I
Your
bring my
pocket?
bag in.
Oh, okay. They don't. Oh, geez, they don't care.
They don't say nothing to me. I mean,
Good for you. Good for you. So going back, I know Matt Jansen's very good with analyzing physiques and sort of tailoring training routines around, you know, improving certain areas. Has he done that with you? Did he do that after the show last year, saying for next year we need to do this and that?
oh yeah, like the reality of it for me, it was just more of overall refinement
Yeah.
rather than trying to get bigger, even though that just happened anyway. But we wanted to stay away from things that applied pressure to the gut
Hmm.
and the exercises that we thought would, make my waist even bigger.
Yeah.
And we also paid really close attention to foods that may have messed with my digestion. And I think we executed everything. Like my waist is a lot tighter, a lot better this go around.
Yeah.
My back's a lot bigger, a lot wider. My like the V taper in general is just a lot better. So
Hmm. Did he have you go gluten free?
No, no,
Huh?
no.
Yeah, typical. So a lot of people are doing that these days to try to
Yeah.
slim down the midsections. It seems to have mixed results. Works for some people. Um, so does he handle your workouts and your nutrition, or just your nutrition?
Just mainly my nutrition, but as far as the training goes,
Yeah,
if he feels I should be doing something or trying a different style of something, he'll let me know, and we implement that in there.
yeah. Now I don't know if you want to share. You have a lofty goal, and I never. You know what? I tell people whenever people criticize or knock guys for having high standards, high goals for themselves, I say, you know what? This is not a team sport. If you don't believe in yourself, no one else is
No,
going to. And if you don't reach for the very highest level, what are you doing this for? That's like
exactly,
going into show and, geez, I hope I make the top 10. I hope I make the top five. How can you really train as hard as you're supposed to, diet as strictly as you're supposed to, when in your head you're like, I don't know.
exactly.
So you got to tell people this. I love this. Tell us what you want to accomplish this year.
So the goal is me, Matt Jansen, want to pull the trio. We want to win North Americans. We want to win Chicago. We want to go to the Olympia.
Yeah. And before anyone says you're on crack, 2017, Derek Lunsford won the
He did it.
USA.
Yep.
1 week later, he won the Tampa Pro 212. 6 weeks later, fifth place at the Olympia. So yeah, it can be done. It's been done, and why not? Why not? Um,
Anything can happen as long as you believe in yourself, man.
and another thing is, I commend you for even having the goal of competing as a pro right away, because that's how in the old days you turned pro, you started competing. Within a year, some of these guys were like second at the Olympia, like Flex Wheeler was,
Right.
Kevin Leveroni was. They were winning shows, and it bothers me to see guys turn pro and then they drop off the face of the earth for a year, 2 years, sometimes 3 years.
Right.
By the time these guys compete as a pro, we forgot who the hell they are.
Right.
Strike while the iron's hot.
Well,
You
that's what
have,
I feel like I'm there.
yeah,
I feel like I could do very well in the pro rank.
yeah,
So after I win North Americans, I don't feel the need to wait.
right,
The whole thing is get my feet wet, see how I do. If I win, great, we're going to Olympia.
yeah,
If I place top, 2, 3, cool. I did very well for my pro debut.
right.
Now we go back to the game plan and figure out what we're going to do next year.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like some of these guys that take the year or two off. They need a lot more size. They're not ready for the pros.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if I would tell you don't need any more size at all, but you could probably make that argument. I think you're about as large as you need to be. It's just a matter of refinement,
Yeah.
detail. That's
Exactly.
all. And that's time. That's just time. As years go by, every year that goes by, you're going to get that more mature, detailed look to all the muscles. But that also brings another thing. You and any other guy that's not like 40, 50 years old gets knocked for getting too big too fast. And how long are you supposed to wait to get big? Are you supposed to wait till you're like freaking my age or something? You know,
Exactly. Exactly.
how do you respond to that particular critique?
A lot of times I just ignore it because I don't I do because I don't really know what to say half the times. It's like I know what they're inferring when
Yeah,
they say that, and it's like that's just not the case. When you train heavy, you eat a lot of food. You got great genetics. You implement some stuff on the side.
yeah,
What do you expect's going to happen? And when you're consistent with that every single day,
yeah,
what do you expect is going to happen? You're going to stay the same.
right,
You're going to grow like, a couple pounds a year. No, you're going to grow.
yeah. Well, you know what? I honestly think a lot of people either they have no concept that there are people that are genetically gifted to add size at a rate and at a level that far exceeds the regular, garden variety gym rat, or they're in denial and they want to think it's all excessive amounts of super supplements because they want an excuse for why they're not that big. And yet,
Right.
I can tell these people from experience, and then they just say I'm an old cranky bitter or whatever. But I've known tons of guys who've used crazy amounts of stuff, like lethal amounts, and they were not that big. Trust me. And I've also
Yeah.
known people who had no reason to lie to me. They had nothing to gain. The amounts they were using were nothing special at all. Very moderate. And these were massive people. People
Right.
can't get it through their heads that we're not all physically. Why is one guy 5 foot and another guy 7 foot? You
And
know?
that's the thing. And also, you got to when you're short,
Yeah.
you, you're it's quick. It's easier to grow that way anyway.
It's easier to fill out a frame like that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, when you're taller, it takes a little longer. There's many different variables that play a role.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's you're in this generation with social media and stuff. You actually grew up with, geez, Facebook was probably like around when you were, I don't know, like 10 years old or something at this.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. So
there was a MySpace and then Facebook.
MySpace. Yeah. I'm surprised you even remember MySpace, but you've grown up with social media, with YouTube, with
I have.
Instagram.
I have.
You probably even know what Snapchat is because I'm not quite
Yeah.
sure. But you know, positives and negatives with social media as far as you're concerned.
I would say as far as bodybuilding goes, the negatives would be contracts for the
Mm,
athletes.
mm,
You had Jay Cutler who had, his huge time yearly contract, and a lot of them didn't make that much, but a lot of them made a good, a large amount.
yeah. Muscle Tech used to
Um,
throw money around like crazy.
exactly. Then you have social media now that comes out, and they just let everyone else do the work for them.
Right. Right.
Which I think has its positives because it's there's still a lot of money to be made. You just have to now really, really work for it.
Right.
Like YouTube is, I wouldn't say is an easier access to make money, but if you're well known, you're a big timer, you're gonna make solid money off YouTube.
Yeah.
And you'll still make solid money from companies, but you have to be a really big timer now.
Right.
But overall, I think it has its more positives than negatives.
For a bodybuilder, I think it's created so much opportunity for you to get a fan base, to
Yes.
build a brand. Because going back to the old days, 80s and 90s, everything you were at the mercy of basically magazines and photographers. If they didn't know who you were and feature you, nobody knew who you were. Nobody, because
Right.
there was no, we didn't have smartphones. We barely even had cell phones.
Right.
It's true, but now you can have Instagram page. You can have all these platforms. You can, fans from all over the world can message you, can interact with you. They feel like they know you. YouTube. You got your channels. It's called, what's it? Nick Walker Bodybuilding. What's it called?
Walker Nation.
Walker Nation. Okay, check that out. Very high quality work. I checked out some of that, by the way. Very, very good.
Thank you.
Very
My
good.
guy, his name's Broadfit. He's really good.
Yeah, I mean, he knows how to light. He knows how to get the right
Yes.
lighting and angles too, which is,
Yes. His photos are really good too.
yeah, that's not as easy. If people think it's easy, they should try taking a picture of a bodybuilder and then look at like a professional picture and see how crappy your picture looks compared to
Exactly.
that. That's when you understand. But
Exactly.
like I said, that's giving a chance for people all over the world to see you train, to hear you talk, to know your personality. So by the time you meet these people at expo or a contest or whatever, they already feel like they know you. Whereas
Yeah.
back in the old days, it was bodybuilding. The stars, they were, to us, they were like unapproachable. They were like on this pedestal that we didn't even consider them like real people. They were
Yeah.
just these pictures in the magazines that we saw. So you're doing a great job. Like, I'm not going to stereotype and say that's just because of your age, but guys your age do seem to have a better grasp on how to use this stuff properly. Because I see some older guys struggling, and I'm like, it's kind of cringy what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
But so let's get back to North American. So how many weeks out are you as we speak right now?
12 days.
12 days. Wow. That's September. Well, that's right, because it's the same weekend as the New York Pro in
Yeah.
Tampa, by the way.
In Tampa.
Yeah. Chicago Pro is in Atlanta now.
Atlanta now.
So you're going to Atlanta, just so you know.
Yeah.
It's okay because the Chicago Pro wasn't really in Chicago. If you ever went to it before.
No, it's not.
Oh no, it's a good 45-minute drive away from Chicago. I found out because I took a cab. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
no. It's like a $200 cab ride.
Yeah.
But yeah, how do you feel now as opposed to how you felt a year ago at this time out from the USA?
I feel good. Honestly, I feel good. I feel relaxed. I feel really confident. Even though I feel like I have more hype going into this one than I did last year at USA's, and because I had so much hype last year that I never had that before,
Yeah.
I think I applied a ton of pressure on myself to win. and I don't want to say it diminished my physique at all, but I just think I was too hard on myself.
Mm.
Versus this year, it's like since I did lose, I'm more so not that I didn't have fun last year, but I'm having a lot more fun this prep
Mm.
because it's at the end of the day, yes, I'm going to win this show. Like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, whatever happens is going to happen. I just need to make the best of it and have fun and enjoy the process.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think you're in a great spot physically, mentally, everywhere. Then, like I said, I really think last year's USA set you up perfectly for this North American.
Yeah.
I couldn't have written this better if I was trying to. Um, so let's talk a little bit about sponsors that you have, because like you said, we don't have there's not a lot of sponsors out there sponsoring athletes anymore. It's all
Yeah.
just a discount code on, you and a
Right.
thousand other big dudes and hot chicks just have a discount code.
Yeah.
So I see Revive MD. That's one of your main sponsors, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Which is are they still work? Who are some of the other guys they have, guys and girls?
They have Chris Bumstead.
They still have Chris. Good, good.
They have Brett Wilkins and his
Okay.
wife Ivana.
Yep.
Who else are the main top ones? Thor, I believe Thor is still on the team.
Oh wow. Okay.
I know.
Talking about Haptor Bjornsson, right?
Yeah, the the
Okay.
powerlifter, the real
The
big
the
guy.
Thor. Okay, gotcha. Wow.
There's a couple other big timers. They just signed an MMA fighter that just won his fight.
Okay.
Um,
And
I, I,
you're also with Iron Rebel Activewear, which we
yes,
know. I know Meadows is one of their athletes. They have a few top athletes too. So
yeah.
you're with a couple of really cool companies. Any other companies that you're working with?
Well, yeah, the newest supplement one is Raw Nutrition.
Oh, Raw Nutrition. Okay. Yeah.
That's Matt Jansen's newest supplement line.
Oh, right on.
So
Did who gave you the nickname the Mutant? Which
I did.
you well, you definitely deserve it.
I did.
How long ago did you come up with that?
Uh, 2018 is when I started it.
I can't believe nobody else grabbed that nickname in all these years.
Well, there was a couple other people, and I didn't know, but they got really mad that I took their name.
Was it Akim? Was that one of them?
There was a couple other ones, but they were like, "Oh, that's my name."
Yeah, because whoever they were, the nickname didn't stick.
And
You
then
know,
yeah, and then here we are a couple years later, and that's what I'm known as now. Like that's
you can't blame you. I mean, if people don't like your nickname and don't want to call you that
right.
for whatever reason, it didn't
Yeah,
catch on. Nick the Mutant Walker. It's your nickname now, dude. Embrace it, and you don't have
I
to
do it
change.
every day.
You'll never have to change that nickname
Nope,
to
that's me
something
forever now.
like some people's email, they put their age on there, like Nick Walker 23 or something. Like, dude, what are you gonna do next year when you're 24? You
Yeah,
look like
right. You gonna change
oh,
it?
cool. So Matt Jansen, obviously your coach. You got your
Yeah.
sponsors. Who else has been really helpful to you in this prep or just in general?
So my family has always, since I started this entire journey in 2012, really, my family has been behind it the entire time. They absolutely love it. They have never missed a national show or any show, period, for that matter. My mom, she loves it.
Hmm.
She thinks she's a judge.
Ah.
She does. She takes all my morning pictures for me, and
Oh, wow.
she'll critique everything. She's like, "Your lat spread looks horrible. This doesn't look good. That's fit." She thinks she's been researching over the past year.
That's
She's
not an
awesome.
ordinary mom, because I guarantee you 99% of every bodybuilder's mother out there thinks their kid should be the Olympia champ and the judges are morons and this and that. But
Yeah,
your mom really knows what she's looking at, huh? With physiques.
she does. I'll still never forget going back 2017 when I did North Americans, and I dropped too much weight,
Yeah.
and I just couldn't fill out, so I didn't look good on stage, and I knew I didn't. So this is funny. So we're walking back to my hotel room, and it's like really silent.
Mm.
And out of nowhere, my mom's a very blunt person, very blunt.
Yeah.
She goes, Nick, I want you to know you didn't look good at all. And I'm,
Thanks,
I'm
mom.
like, and I'm like, you could have you could have told me that at a later time. Like, I literally just got off. Like, he's
Wow.
like, I didn't like it.
Did she have advice for you? Did say you need to fill out more or
Oh
what?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly what she said. She was like, you were way too flat. Nothing popped.
Wow. She sounds like a prep coach.
It's
Wow.
awesome. It is. Like, there's sometimes we butt heads a little bit because I'm like, Mom, like, relax. But at the end of the day, it's I love it. To have a mother like that, it's unheard of. And I'm
Yeah.
thankful for that.
Yeah. Is your dad still alive?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's
Yeah.
he's very much involved. It's just he works all day long,
Oh,
so
geez.
I don't see him too much. But normally, like the final week of the show, that's when he takes off of work and he'll come to the gym with me
Hmm.
majority of all the days to help push me through the final week. Um and he just he just loves being involved. He just
So the fact that he was a competitor himself, and he tried probably for a very brief time. He didn't pursue it probably as long as he could have, I'm guessing, because in the old days there just wasn't that much incentive. But is he sort of amazed at the way you look now?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
He
he
loves
remind,
he loves the whole process. He's just like, I've never seen anything like it. Like,
yeah,
back in my, like, this, it's crazy.
yeah.
And
I
of
mean,
course,
yeah.
I have a girlfriend now who I've been with this entire prep, which is not likely for me.
Yeah, most bodybuilders lose a girlfriend during prep,
Yeah,
sometimes a wife. Yeah,
right. That's true.
I've
But
seen
she's
it.
stuck with me this whole time. She's been very supportive, and I'm very thankful for her as well.
Does she cook?
No, I mean, she does, but I'm very like, I got to do it myself.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like to know, like, everything. She's been very supportive, keeping me calm, keeping me relaxed. Even she'll train with me sometimes. She's pushed me through a lot of workouts. Very mentally, she's kept me straight. So
So a lot of guys will book like a cruise or something right after the contest, but you can't really do that if you're turning right around and
well,
doing Chicago Pro.
yeah, we might have to wait till the end of the year, like after Christmas or something.
I'll tell you, if you're taking a cruise now, I think it's like $10 a day to the Caribbean.
It's
So
so cheap, man.
I mean, you're trapped on a boat with a virus. So I don't know. I don't know who's taking cruises these days, dude.
Exactly.
Are they even running cruises? No, they
I
can't.
don't. I don't even know,
They
actually.
can't be. No, because I still remember all those cruise ships circling the world trying to find somewhere to land, and nobody would let them come to
Really?
port. Remember? Yeah, there was a bunch of those. They couldn't come on. These people were stuck on ships for like a month or two. It
That's
was nuts
crazy.
during the quarantine. Cool, man. Anybody else you need to thank before we go?
Well, I'll thank, of course, I'll just repeat myself a little bit, but I'll thank Matt Jansen,
Yeah,
who's been not only a great coach to me, but a great mentor and someone who I consider family now. Um, all my close friends who've been very supportive, my mom, my dad, my brother, my girlfriend,
yeah,
my sister-in-law, everyone has played a role in these preps. As much as they say this is a lonely sport, which to an extent it is, having a great support system can really take you a long way. And I'm very thankful that I have that behind me.
yeah. Excellent. And what is your Instagram, Nick, for everybody to check out?
Nick_Walker 39.
Okay, you're gonna have to change that. IFBB Pro or something. Yeah.
Yep,
What's
it's
30?
coming.
Can I ask what's 39? You're not 39 years old, and there's not 39 days in the.
That's just my favorite number. That was
Okay.
my number when I was younger, when I played sports. And
Gotcha. Okay. You can keep it then.
yeah.
It's not one of those ones that's going to be obsolete. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha, man. Well, Nick, I wish you the best of luck. I think you're going to do very well. Obviously, everybody knows you're definitely one of the favorites, and I'd like to see you in the rank in the pro ranks very soon because we're getting sort of away from we don't have that many really huge guys anymore.
Yeah.
It's almost like they got chased out of the sport or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Uh, it's all about aesthetics and little waists and this and that. But at the core, there's still a huge audience out there. A lot of the fans want to see tons of freaky muscle mass in great condition. That's bodybuilding. Like
Yeah.
you go to the zoo to see the lions and the tigers and the elephants, not the wombats and the squirrels.
Right.
Yeah. So cool, man. Wish you the best of luck, you and Matt, in this final. We know the final few days are critical. So
Yeah.
here's hoping that everything goes perfectly as planned and the next time I see you will be in person at the Chicago Pro,
Yes,
which
it
is
will.
in, where is it again? Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia now.
Gotcha, man. Gotcha. Cool. Excellent talking to you, sir. And
Thank you for having
appreciate
me
you
on,
taking.
man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So everybody, thanks for watching Ronline Report with Nick.